Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So I just decided that today in mathematics we are going to check the graphs of the functions as given because I've seen that most people are actually struggling when it comes to graphs in mathematics. So I hope that I'll be able to help you to get your distinction in mathematics and excel because that's what we need. Please do not leave the channel, watch the entire video just for you to comprehend how you can be able to tackle such questions. Let's get into it. So here we have two equations, the f of x and also the g of x. And if you check, you will see that this is actually a linear equation. And there is the point B and also, the point A and also the point B where the graphs intersect. So you just have to analyze the graph before getting into the questions, So the graphs intersect at A and B, so meaning that they are actually intersecting here and also here. Please bear in mind that this one as a line equation, you can be able to get a lot of values in it. As you can see that the intersection here and also the intersection here, there is some values that you should think, um, about. But those are the values that are actually vital when it comes to solving these type of graphs. So okay, let's jump into the question itself. So if they come to you with such questions and ask you that write down the coordinates of the turning point of f, then you have to think about the values where um, your where your f of x tends, and you can't actually jump and say that this is the value. As you can see that they are not written, so I think that you just have to make everything easier for yourself by trying to expand this. But you can actually see that you have your y as 4, as this one is actually simplified, and then you have your x here as x is equals to negative 3 because it will go to that side. But let's not confuse ourselves when it comes to that. You can actually get them, but now the best way for you guys is to make sure that you have I'm writing y now. Let's say f of x, which is equals to, then expand this will definitely be negative. Don't touch the negative. Then the plus of 3 is to x, the plus of 3, right? So this is the expansion, and then here you're gonna get your plus 4. So this is actually equals to, then x and x will give you x squared. So that will definitely give you x squared, and then x and x, then that will be 3x, 3 and x plus 3x, and then 3 and 3 will give you a 9, and then into the bracket, the plus of 4, so which is equals to negative x squared, right? And then negative the plus of this, that will be 6x, then the negative of 9, then plus 4. This is equals to negative x squared minus 6x, then minus 5. So this is actually the equation that you can use, and also you're gonna use it in the future. It's not like you are squandering your time or anything. We are expanding it for the future use. So you can go there and say x of the turning point is equals to negative b all over 2a. That will be equal to negative of negative. So this is a, this is b, and then this is the constant. So negative 6, and then all over 2, and then a, which is negative 1. So this will equal the positive of 6 all over negative 2, then which is equals to what? Negative 2, right? So which is equals negative 3. See? So now you can see that this negative 3 points out to this particular 3 there, as everything was actually simplified. And now, in order for us to get the y value, we have to do the following. Okay, so I'm going to erase this part because we already know the answer, that is actually negative 3. So I'm going to erase that part and say that this is equal to negative 3. And then the other one, which is y, then y, I would really love to change this into positives, but nevertheless, y is equals to negative into negative 3 squared minus 6 into negative 3, and then minus 5. So this will give us what? Remember, the negative is outside. This will give us a 9, negative 9, then minus, the minus of minus 6 will give us a positive. So 3, 3, 12, 3, and then 18, and then minus, minus what? Minus 5, right? So this will equal what? Minus 5 in here will definitely give us 13. Okay, let's start with maybe this one, which will give us an positive 9. Positive 9, because negative 9 plus 18 will give us a positive 9, and then minus 5, and then we know that we are going to get a 4, and that 4 we spoke about it up here. I hope you do understand how I solved this question, and you don't have to take much time trying to jump from one equation to another. You just have to understand how you can do it, and then the rest will be history. So I'm going to write my equation somewhere here. Negative x squared, the plus, oh sorry, minus 6x minus 5, and then erase everything here, right? Because I just needed the equation for other questions in the future. So now I'll just erase everything that I have so that I can continue with the question. So we have to take our time in order for us to understand. That's why I'm actually taking my time at the moment. So they said that write down the range of f, right? So most of the time when you see a range of a specific graph, you have to think twice about it. Okay? So people tend to throw away such questions and be like, I can't do this, I can't do that. This is actually the simplest question. So now we know that we have negative 3 and also 4 as our turning points, right? So this means that our range of f goes up until 4 as a positive number. So if you see a graph like this going down, decrementing in a way, it means that your range your range of f will definitely be something like this. So f of x, then less or equals to then 4, right? So the reason why we are using less or equals to is just because the graph is actually going down. So then if it was like this, then it means that it's actually going up, and then our f of x will definitely be greater or greater or equals to this particular number there. So you have to be careful when it comes to that, the graph decreasing or increasing in terms of a range. So now this is actually the range of f. You are done. So another way to present this, you can say that y or f of x is actually pointing to negative infinite up until 4. So it means that it can go up until negative million. I don't really know what to say, but the maximum number will be 4. Like, this is the maximum, and then we just go down up until, but it won't actually go to 4.1 up until other positive values, right? That's how you can solve this type of equation. Okay, so now we are actually going to solve another question, and I hope that you do understand the question precisely. So the other question that I have will be this one. Show that the x coordinate of A and B are like you were given the values, so you are not expected to fail such questions. So if they give you some values, it means that they don't expect you to fail. You have to make sure that the values are as given, right? Okay, let's just jump into it. So now the equation will be, so remember our f of x, I don't have to write it just to be quick. We don't have to squander our time. So our equation for f of x is this, and the other one is this. So where they intersect here, meaning that if we can solve both equations or equalize both equations, it means that we can get to that point. So the only thing that we can do is to say f of x, which is equals to g of x, meaning that they are actually equal to each other when they intersect, right? So this means that we have the other one as negative x squared. Remember that minus 6x, then minus 5 is equals to. Then here we have our linear equation, right? So yeah, everything is x. Now we can solve for this. So I will definitely take everything from this side to the other side, right? And that will help us with this, the solution. Negative x squared minus 6x, right? Minus this one, which is x, then minus 5, and then minus 5 is equals to 0, and then this will give us negative 7. Negative 7x and then negative 10, right, which is equal to 0. The best thing to do when you have all the variables as negative, you just multiply this by negative 1 just to change everything into a positive, x squared and then the plus of 7x, the plus of 10 is equals to 0. Now you just have to use your power of solving for x. I do have tutorials on that, you can check it. So as I said last time, that anything that we can multiply and get 10, but when we add we get a 7, that would definitely be 5 times 2, between this range, like the 10 and 7. So that will be 5 times 2, and then that will give us 10. So they are both positive. So if we say positive, positive, it means this plus this, we're going to get a 7, and then this times this will get a 10. So it means that 5 and also 2 are actually the values. And also, I think we are also given here, which can actually help, So now we know that x and then is equals to 0, meaning that we have the plus of 2, then the plus of 5. So now we can prove that x is equals to negative 2, and then x is equals to negative 5. So you can see that even though they cannot tell you about the positions, so the thing is that you should be able to see that negative 2 will be somewhere here. Sorry about the color. Somewhere here. And then negative 5 will definitely be somewhere here. So that's how you can be able to solve the x coordinates of A and B, although you given here, as I said. So that will definitely be your answers. So now we can actually continue with other questions. However, I think that we can actually do this. Okay, just want to erase everything again. So that we can talk about something. So if you check here, you will see that y is actually at 0. So meaning that g of x, this equation can give us that. Let's say that is actually your g of x, which is equal to x plus 5. So if we substitute -5, like g of -5, we are going to get -5 and then plus 5, which is equal to 0. So it means that here we know that that will be -5 and also 0 for the other one. So here the x is actually at -2, but we don't know about the other value. So we can go here and say when g of x at 2, g at 2 will give us the following. So -2 plus 5 will give us a 3. So it means that at b we have -2 and also a 3. You see, so that will be your b. And then as for a, you are going to get -5 and then with a 0. So those are the coordinates that you should think about when you are dealing with such questions. It's very vital for you to understand how this works. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite our equation, which is -x squared minus 6x, then the negative of 5, because that's actually important for us to understand how everything works. Okay, so the next question here will be the one that says that the maximum distance between f and g in the interval is given, and that will be k. So if h of x is equal to g of x plus k, determine the equation of h. Right? In terms of h is equals to. Yes, we do understand. So the first thing that you should think about when you see such questions is that when they talk about the maximum distance between two graphs, it means that we are talking about the distance of the two graphs. So the distance of the given two graphs, right? So now let's think about it. So what if we go there and say the distance of the graph will be the between the two graphs as given, k the value will be f of x, then we minus g of x, right? So this will definitely give us the distance or the value of k. Let's think about it. Let me go and change the color. So now if we say that this is the case, let's go and say d of x is equals to, right, what is the what will be the g of x, and what will be the f of x. So f of x will be something like this, minus 6x, then minus 5, right? And then this means that we are going to minus this, which is x the plus of 5, right, which is equals to, so I want to solve everything in one line, right? X squared minus this one will, the minus will multiply the x, and then this will become an x, will be minus 7x, and then this will multiply 5, it will be minus 5, meaning that this will turn into minus 5 minus 5, this is a 10, right? So since this is a 10, it means that we can be able to determine our equation. So when we talk about max or the distance, we are talking about the following. We are talking about, the first derivative of this equation. And the first derivative of this equation will give us a max, and that max will be at what? 2 times x. This will definitely be what? Negative 2x, right? And then a constant will always be 0 when we're driving an equation. Minus 7, this will be 1 times 7, which is negative 7, and then minus 1 will give us 0. Anything to the exponent 0 will be 1. So this will be multiplied by 1, but it won't change. Remember that, right? Equals to 0. So now negative 2x is equals to, then take the other 7 to that other side, will be positive, and then we divide 7 by 2. So when we divide 7 by 2, we are going to get x, which is equal to negative 7 over 2. So now we know that this one will be the distance that we were actually looking for, and now we need to convert this into a number. You know that when you're using a calculator, that you can do what? You can write everything here. I don't know where to place the calculator, but let's say that you have negative 7 divided by 2. So this will be a fraction, but we need to know the real number, which is negative 3,5, right? So let's just keep this aside, right? Let's just keep this aside and try to get the d of x as given. So remember that our equation will be the one here as given, but now we need to substitute, right? We need to substitute the value that we got into that particular equation. So I'm going to erase everything here and give you the summary. So here you have to go and say, okay, the d with this, remember our equation, right? The d of negative 7 all over 2, which is equals to, remember, negative, right? Negative again, all over 2, and then squared, and then minus 7, and then this will definitely be minus 7 and minus 7 over 2, and then minus 10. So the thing is that if we go ahead, I don't want to use the calculator like seriously, but let's try to see if we can get something out of it, right? So I'm going to erase everything and say, okay, we have a minus, right? A minus of the given here. So just want to punch everything, right? 7, and then I don't know if I can use I'm using something else, but nevertheless, all over 2, and then that will definitely be the bracket of what is 2 squared, and then we're going to say minus 7, and then into bracket, into a bracket of do we have everything? Did I don't know if I punched everything correctly, but I hope that I did. And then the other one will be a 2, and then we close the bracket, and then minus 10. I don't know if everything, but I hope that everything is good. Negative 7, negative 7, that, and then we get our value there. So this is equals to, or this is equals to 9 all over 4. And then let me try to get it in a good format, and then that will be 2,25. So now we know that this will definitely be a 2,25. So we go back and say that, okay, h of x is equals to g of x, which is x there, you remember it, which is x plus 5 and then plus k, and the k that we found here, which is plus 2.25, and then this is equals to x, the plus of 7 comma 2 5 comma 2 5. This is actually the answer for this question. I hope that you do understand it. If you don't understand it, please comment, and then I'll just try to elucidate how you can be able to tackle such questions. So this was actually the last question. So this was actually the last question that I have for you guys, just for this video. Thank you, thank you, thank you.